Gentle morning sunlight filtered through the window, illuminating the cozy room. In the quiet space, Lily was immersed in her own world. She lay stretched out on the comfortable bed, her small but nimble hands holding a smartphone tightly. The screen reflected in Lily's big, sparkling round eyes as she swiped, tapped, and watched videos intently, completely oblivious to everything around her. In a corner of the room, her dad was focused on his work. In a moment of distraction, a small accident happened. Her dad accidentally knocked over a cup of coffee, creating a small clank and a dark brown puddle that began to spread across the floor. Instantly, as if by reflex, Lily jumped up. She wasn't scared at all. Instead, she immediately took action. Lily leaped off the bed, ran to find a cloth, and quickly wiped up the stain, restoring the floor's cleanliness.
Nhanh đi ơi, nó là đồ giặt nhá.
However, the real tragedy came from an act of goodwill. After helping her dad, he decided to clean up Lily's bed for her. He gathered her soft cotton blanket, completely unaware that Lily's technological treasure was still hidden inside. With innocent thoughtlessness, he put the entire bundle of the blanket and the phone into the washing machine and started the cycle.
Đây đi con nào. Đúng rồi. Lau đi con, lau đi. Cầm lấy lau đi. Lau con. Rồi, đi lau cho bố nào. Lau chỗ này cho bố này đi. Đúng rồi đấy, cảm ơn Linh nhá. Đi lau cho bố chỗ này đi, chỗ này bẩn này. Đây này. Đấy, đi lau chỗ này đi này. Bẩn này. Đúng rồi, đi rửa. Linh nhá. Đây này, Linh này. Đây, cảm ơn Linh. Cảm ơn. Cảm ơn Linh. Rồi, đi lau cho bố nào. Đi ơi, các bạn. Giặt hư rồi. Còn cái này là vừa nhé. Còn cái giặt hư rồi Linh. Sao giờ?
Hả?
Con ngồi đây thử cho em nhé. Con thử xem.
Hả?
When it was all over, Lily realized her phone had gone silent forever. It was a huge shock. Sadness was written all over her face.
Sao? Cái này tại Ly nhé. Ly bỏ trong cái chăn ba không thấy nhé. Thấy chưa? Ly bỏ trong chăn ba không thấy. Mai giặt luôn rồi.
Lily sat huddled on a chair, her hands covering her face, her small body trembling with disappointment and sulkiness. Her dad, realizing his grave mistake, was incredibly remorseful.
Rửa cho Ly nhé. Thấy chưa? Để bay đi sửa nhé. Chắc không sao đâu nhỉ. Nhỉ. Không sao đâu he. Đi sửa đi nhé. Để mang đi sửa. Tí mang đi sửa nhé. Nhá. Này tí mang đi sửa này. Thấy không? Tí mang đi sửa mang về nhé. Còn làm đi chơi nhé. Ly ơi, Ly, ra cho anh này Ly ơi. Ly ơi, ra cho anh này Ly ơi. Sao mà cái ngồi đi, ở đây cho này. Đúng rồi, ở đây. Ở đây nha. Ở đây đi. Này nha. Này bùi nha. Được không? Được không?
He prepared a bowl of fragrant sweet food,
Được không?
a dish Lily usually
Ngon
loved,
quá hả?
and patiently brought each spoonful to her.
Thơm quá. Ngon không?
In the end, her sulkiness couldn't win against the allure of the sweet bean soup. Lily deliciously enjoyed every spoonful of the soup from her dad.
Ngon à? Mình sẽ đọc nha. Ngon không? Chà, ngon quá ha. Ngoan đi, ngoan đi, ngoan. Ngoan đi. Đậu nha, đây là đậu này. Chè đậu nha. Ngoan nha. Con không bạn thích đi chơi nhé. Ngày mưa ở nhà ha.
Her dad intended to take Lily to the market, but suddenly a heavy rain began to fall.
Thôi đi ở nhà nhé, mưa đừng có đi chơi nhé. Em ngồi đây đi. Đúng rồi, tôi ngồi đó. Đúng rồi. Đấy. Nhà đi chợ nhé. Đi mua gì cho đi ăn ha. Ở nhà ngoan nhé.
Dad. Dad.
Thôi lên nhà đó. Lên nhà làm đi. Dad. Đến làm đi con. Đi đi.
Vòng quay cho đó mày trả tao mua cho nó mua. Tao quay được. Quay cho đồ cho học cô online học cô
The house felt vast and unusually quiet. Lily, now alone, sat on the familiar yellow sofa. She didn't run or play. Instead, she sat motionless, her big, sad, round eyes fixed on the front door. Every sound, from the wind whispering through the door cracks to the rustling of leaves outside, made her jump, thinking it might be the sound of her dad's return. This waiting period deeply portrayed her loneliness and loyalty, showing the irreplaceable place her dad held in her small world.
Lily ngoan quá nhỉ? Chào Ly nhé.
However, when her dad returned, Lily was still upset, refused to eat, and ran into her room alone.
Dễ thương quá. Lily ngoan quá nhỉ? Qua đây ngồi đi. Thế này. Lily ngoan quá nhỉ? Qua đây ngồi đi. Thế này. Này ăn đi con.
Adios.
Ủa sao vậy? Lily, sao đấy? Có ghế ngồi Lily. Qua đây ngồi con. Sao vậy? Ngồi đi. Ra đi. Sao đây? Sao? Ăn đi con. Sao vậy? Ăn đi. Sao thế? Sao đấy? Đối lại. Đối lại. Đây. Ủa, sao vậy? Sao vậy Lily? Sao vậy?
Seeing Lily sad, her dad tried every way to console her.
Giận hả? Sao đấy? Ăn đi chứ, ba làm đồ ăn cho Lily mà. Giận ba hả? Giận hả? Lily nhà buồn hả? Xin lỗi Lily nhá. Sao đây? Hả? Xin lỗi nhá. Trời mưa không đi được ra ngoài chưa? Trời mưa ra ngoài ốm đấy nhá. Rồi bữa sau ba cho đi nhá, nắng lên ba cho đi ha. Nắng ba dắt đi chơi nhé, được không? Nhá. Bây giờ ta ăn xong nắng ba dắt đi chơi nhé. Được không Ly? Hả? Sao? Có ra trường nắng ba dắt đi chơi nhé.
After being comforted, Lily became happy again. The two of them hugged and fell fast asleep. The next morning, the story continued with a surprising scene of Lily's independence. She went into the bathroom by herself, climbed onto a small stool to reach the sink, turned on the tap, cupped water in her hands, and gently patted her face, performing her personal hygiene routine proficiently. After freshening herself up, Lily walked softly into the bedroom, where her dad was still fast asleep. Instead of being mischievous or noisy, Lily showed a rare gentleness. She climbed onto the bed, moved close to her dad, and used her tiny hand to gently shake his shoulder, making soft sounds. It was not just an act of waking him up, but a moment full of affection, where their roles seemed to be reversed, as the little daughter cared for her dad.
Gì Ly? Gì vậy? Gì vậy? Làm gì vậy? Phải đi ngoài đó. Ủa, Ly tôi muốn đi đâu đây? Ăn sáng rồi. Rồi lại đi ăn mặt đi ăn sáng nhé.
To cheer Lily up again, her dad decided to ask her to go to the market.
Đúng rồi, bác ở đây. Cái túi nữa, túi nữa. Đúng rồi, đây. Đeo vào đi con, đeo vào. Đấy. Túi nó. Nào, đeo túi vào đi. Đúng không? Con cho tiền này, đây ngồi với cho tiền này. Con đi tiền nhé. Tiền đi mua rồi, mua trái cây ăn nhé. Thấy chưa? Bây giờ Ly đi ra chợ này, đi mua này, mua đồ ăn này, đi mua đồ ăn cho dê đấy nhá, được không? Này đi vào đấy nhá, không ngồi này, này, Ly nhá. Rồi cẩn thận mất đi chưa? Này, đi ra ngoài lấy xe đi con.
Lily was given a special task by her dad. Lily pulled a cart along familiar roads to the local market, which was full of colors and sounds. At the market, Lily was incredibly excited. From her position, she curiously looked at everything: the lush green vegetable stalls, the fresh fish and meat counters, and the bustling crowds. The market trip was not just for buying food, it was a healing therapy, helping Lily temporarily forget her sadness and find joy again alongside her beloved dad. When Lily returned home with a cart full of food, the small kitchen became busy again.
Đúng rồi đấy. Đúng rồi đấy. Đậu này, cà rốt cho dê này, đậu cho dê này, táo của Ly đúng không? Ngon quá ha, đi nào. Đây. Để bà làm ly nhé.
Her dad placed her on the kitchen counter, where she became a little sous chef.
Đúng rồi đấy.
While her dad prepared the other ingredients, Lily was given an important task: to snap the green beans.
Đây. Này. Này.
With great concentration, she used her skillful hands to break each bean into bite-sized pieces. The crisp snap, snap sound echoing rhythmically.
Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Đây, của con đây. Ly giỏi đó. Bẻ đó, bẻ. Tiếp con nữa nhé. Cái này mình lát mình chia cho thêm một nửa nhé. Rồi ba làm cho Ly một nửa ha. Bẻ con, bẻ, 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 bẻ. Không, cái này bẻ ra con. Đúng rồi. Ngon không? Đúng rồi. Giỏi quá. Đây nè. Này cũng được tán đẹp đi nhỉ. Để đẹp đây. Đây. Đây nào. Đây là cái cà rốt nhé. Rồi con bỏ kia đi. Đây nữa. Bỏ đi con. Đây. Bỏ. Đúng rồi, đây, đây. Xuống lấy đi con. Rồi, đây nữa. Đây, bây giờ bạn làm cái ly táo ăn nhé, được không? Ha. Làm ly táo nhé, xong rồi bạn luộc cái kia nhé.
Ok.
Đấy. Đợi nhé. Táo ngon đấy ha. Kim. Rồi, đây nữa không? Có lên nữa không? Đây nữa không? Con không? À, con hả? Đây. Đây. Bỏ nữa. Rồi, hết nha. Rồi, cái này cho đi này. Đi. Đi qua, phải đi nhé. Đi đấy đi con. Ngoan đâu? Đúng rồi, đi ngoan nhỉ? Vào đây đi cánh này. Thật nào. Chạm nó đi. Đi vào ăn đi nhé.
After a while of preparation, hot, fragrant dishes were ready.
Đẹp không? Cái này tránh xa ở đây nhé, đừng nóng nữa. Và to được ăn nhé. Kia. Con đang ở đi chơi nhé. Bây giờ đi chơi để lắp xong rồi ba dọn ra ăn nhé. Được chưa? Này, mang cất này luôn nhé. Dưới rồi. Thế đi chơi đá bàn luôn đi. Đây là đi em.
Instead of sitting at a formal dining table, the two of them chose a small corner on the floor. Gathering around the simple meal, they enjoyed each dish together, sharing wordless stories through their gazes and gestures.
Nè. Ăn trứng này. Ăn trứng này đi. Trứng này. Ăn mỗi cơm không phải? Ừ. Rau này. Rau này đi. Ừ. Thấy rau không? Nè. Ừ. Thế ăn mỗi cơm này nhỉ? Không thích ăn đồ ăn à? Ừ. Để đâu đây? Cẩn thận nào.
The simple meal, full of affection, washed away all the earlier sulkiness and tightened their family bond.
Sao thế? Trứng ngon mà. Trứng ngon mà. Ngon nhỉ? Được không? Ăn đâu được đấy. Rồi. Đây này. Đây này đi. Đây này đi này. Bật ơi. Ai đây kìa. 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 Đứng lên nào, đứng lên.
Lily,
Đi kìa.
Lily ơi.
Đi kìa. Đi kìa. Mở cửa, mở cửa, mở cửa. Vô đây nào. Trời ơi, có quà đi à? Chuối ngon gì à? Trời ơi. Chuối ngon nha. Cảm ơn nhé.
Their day
Cảm ơn
became
nha.
even sweeter when a neighbor
Cảm ơn kìa.
stopped by and gave
kìa
them a
rồi.
bunch of ripe
Kìa.
yellow porcelain bananas.
Rồi đi vô con, vô trong nhà. Đi. Chào bác đi nhá. Rồi vô đóng cửa. Đây. Để cho Ly đấy, được chưa? Bây giờ Ly làm món gì đấy? Hay làm món gì đấy nhỉ? Hay làm bánh chuối nhé. Hay làm bánh chuối đi nhé. Nhé. Từ từ cắn. Từ từ. Cắn để nó thế nào nhé. Làm bánh chuối nhé. 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 Rồi, đi làm bánh chuối đi. Đi nào. Đi đi đi. Rồi đến đây. Đây đi xem ba làm bánh chuối nhá. Đấy. Nè, cái bột nè. Úi trời ơi bột nè, thấy không? Đó.
An
Đó,
idea sparked in her dad's mind
bây giờ
to
nè,
make steamed banana cake for dessert.
trộn bột đây
Lily
nhé.
immediately responded with
nha.
enthusiasm.
Ha. Trộn bột đây nhé. Nhé. Từ từ các bạn ra đây ngồi nào. Đây đây. Mình làm bột trước nhé. Mình làm một trước nhá, xong rồi mình cắt chuối bỏ vô ha.
The baking process became a fun,
Này, cầm
shared
cái này đi.
activity. Lily eagerly helped her dad peel the bananas, then used a spoon to mash them in a large bowl.
Xúc đi.
She also
Xúc.
curiously watched her dad mix the flour and combine the ingredients.
Nghe kia đấy. Đúng rồi. Ôi trời ơi, cái gì vậy Ly? Mới đấy mà đã nghịch chưa? Thôi vậy thôi nha, nhiều quá nó bị đặc đấy nha. Đảo đi con, xúc đi con. Đây này, xúc này. Thấy không? Trời ơi, đi này, thấy không? Hết rồi này.
The whole kitchen was
Đấy,
filled with
yeah.
laughter and warmth.
Rồi, bạn lấy nước nha. Đảo này, con đảo đi. Đây đảo này, đây đảo đây. Đấy, đảo. Thấy không? Cho loãng tí nha, cho nó dính ha. Này. Con đứng lên thì dễ đảo, đúng rồi. Đấy. Chút xíu thôi nha. Rồi. Ok rồi đấy. Tiếp không? Tiếp không? Thế mình phải làm cùng nhau chứ đúng không? Nha. Được rồi đấy nhỉ. Úi trời ơi, đừng vào lau đâu, đừng vào lau đâu. Rồi, cầm bên này, cầm bên này. Đúng rồi. Nó chảy chảy nhưng mà là được rồi, nhìn đi. Thơm không? Thơm không? Được không? À, ngon nhỉ. Sao? Rồi bây giờ mình cắt chuối đi. Bỏ ra, cắt chuối nhé. Đi lấy cái bạc chuối đi. Đúng rồi, bỏ đây coi. Lại đi, nha. Đó, bỏ này. Cắt này. Cắt lát nha. Cắt lát nha. Được không? Có được không? Cắt lát này. Cắt lát này. Thấy không? Ôi rồi, cái một quả được rồi nhỉ? Ha, quả được đấy nhỉ? Hơi nhiều nhỉ? Lấy đi, lấy được rồi. Lấy đây này. Lấy cái đây. Tiền. Đúng rồi, đây này. Chọn cái này nhá, này nhỏ này. Lấy đây này. Lấy đi, đặt xuống kia đi. Chỉ nha, thì đẹp nhá. Đây này. Hãy mang nước bỏ kìa. Đúng rồi, đây nữa, bỏ đi. Đây nữa. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Giỏi quá. Đây nữa này. Kia kìa. Đấy, để mà chỉnh lại. Chỉnh lại nhá. Đó, xếp nó đẹp nhá. Xếp mình cắt ăn nó ngon nhá. Được không? Được không? Đây nữa này. Đây nữa. Bỏ kia đi. Đúng đây nữa này. Đây nữa. Đấy, bỏ xuống đây nữa. Bỏ đấy không con? Rồi bê đây cho bạn nào. Rồi, đúng rồi. Đây nhá. Nè. Bây giờ mình xếp này lại tí nhá. Xếp cái này lại này. Đó. Đúng rồi. Bây giờ bắt đầu cái này lên nhá. Mình làm 2 lớp nhá. Rồi, một lớp nữa nha. Này đi này, đi này. Ở đây mà chỉ ra này. Ở đây, đúng rồi. Chỉ đi nhá. Này. Thêm nha, thêm chút nữa ha. Mình dàn đều đấy nhá, cái cỗ khe hở mình dàn đều đấy nhá. Đó, ok. Rồi, dàn ra. Đó. Mình làm 2 lớp bánh nhá, 2 lớp bánh chuối nhá. Rồi, con thả đây ra, bỏ đây ra. Rồi, đến đây. Thế thì ba quả đấy, vào đây đi. Đúng rồi, vào đây, vào đây cho ba. Đúng rồi, cảm ơn. Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Ly ngồi xuống. Đúng rồi, cho Ly miếng nhá. Rồi, Ly chờ lâu đúng không? Rồi, Ly cầm quả kia đi. Cầm lên này. Bỏ xuống. Đúng rồi. Cầm, bỏ xuống. Cầm, bỏ xuống. Cầm đi, bỏ xuống kìa. Giỏi lắm. Đây mà. Bỏ xuống. Đúng rồi. Cầm bỏ xuống này. Đúng rồi. Cầm, bỏ xuống. Cầm lên này. Cầm, bỏ xuống. Đó. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Bỏ xuống. Đấy, bên này cho ba. Bên ba, bên không có này cho ba. Đi vào đây. Đó. Rồi. Nè, thường nè. Cảm ơn nhá. Nè, bây giờ ba phải chỉnh lại cái này tí đúng không? Này. Chỉnh lại cái này xíu. Ui, cái này. Đây. Được rồi. Vậy là đều rồi này. Đó, mình làm 2 lớp vậy thôi nhé. Không làm thêm nữa. Cao quá nó dày khó ăn nhỉ. Đó, được rồi. Để đi hấp nhé. Mình làm một lớp mỏng trên tí nhỉ, một xíu rồi ha. Này, thấy không? Cầm đây, cầm thìa đây. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, ba chỉ đi làm nhé. Đó, mình giảm xíu lên thôi nhé. Cho nó có kết nối nha. Đây này, thấy không? Rồi, xong rồi. Ok rồi, giờ đi hấp thôi ha. Hấp thôi ha. Nè, thấy không? Nè, ở đây nha. Đó. Đây bung lại nè, thấy không? Bắt bếp này. Đó. Rồi, chờ đợi thôi, xem phim nhé. Bây giờ mình chờ đợi mình cắt cái chuối cho dê nhé đi nhé. Nhé. Mấy chuối cho em dê nhé. Rồi, đi ngồi đây ba lấy á. Cho em dê 2 quả chuối nha.
The two of them enjoyed the fruits of their labor together. But the story didn't end there.
Cắt cho em dê nhé. Em dê
Lily,
ăn vỏ luôn.
with her kind heart, thought of her friend. She carefully
Này,
took
dê.
a warm piece of cake, trotted out to the small garden, and gave it
Này, đi
to
này.
Bebe the goat.
Con bỏ vào rổ đi. Đúng rồi, lấy nữa đi. Đó, đây này. Đây nữa con. Đúng rồi. Đây nữa con. Đây nữa. Không, đây. Đây, lấy đây. Bỏ xuống. Đúng rồi, giỏi đó. Bỏ. Đúng rồi, đi giỏi quá. Này to luôn nhỉ. Rồi, cầm bỏ hết đi. Rồi, đây nữa này. Đây nữa. Đó. Rồi, để cho anh nào. Rồi, đi con nào. Đi. Đi này. Anh lấy bánh này cho dê nhé. Để ba coi bánh này. Lên đâu ta? Bebe! 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 Bebe vào đây. Bebe! Đi đâu đấy? Qua đây, đi lên. Bebe nhé. Không được ăn nhé. Để Bebe thôi. Thì liền bánh nhá, Linh nhá.
The goat happily accepted the gift and ate it deliciously. Lily's small act concluded a long day with a meaningful lesson about love, forgiveness, and the joy of sharing.
Bỏ đây. Bỏ vào đây. Đúng rồi, giỏi. Nè, ăn đi. Đúng rồi, Bebe ăn đi. Thôi mình đi về nhé. Đi nào, đi nào. Đi nào. Đi rồi, đi. Đi Linh. Đi nào. Đi. Đi nào. để bạn chú ý nhé, thấy chưa? Đi.
Lily's dad, in his simple ash gray work clothes, emerged from their small, rustic wooden house. In his hands were a pristine white porcelain plate and a small earthenware cup, perhaps filled with food, for the special residents of their garden. Dad leisurely slowly walked towards the small crystal-clear pond, nestled peacefully beside a dense thicket of trees, where the calm water surface, like a giant mirror, reflected the clear early morning sky and the lazily drifting white clouds. The image of 5 little ducklings with shiny golden feathers, tiny like mobile cotton balls, frolicking and swimming near a charming little house made of bamboo and thatched with rustic straw, created a truly peaceful, serene, and very countryside scene. Lily, in her comfortable, brightly colored home clothes, and even wearing a pair of round-rimmed black glasses that made her look very much like an intellectual, was sitting upright, back straight at her cute little study desk set up in the corner of the room. She held a bright red crayon firmly in her hand, trying to imitate the actions she often saw Dad do, writing or drawing squiggly, incomprehensible lines in a pristine white notebook, still fragrant with new paper. The first stop on her morning exploration journey was the prominent cream yellow refrigerator in the kitchen corner. Lily curiously approached it, then using all her might, tiptoeing a little, tried to open the rather heavy freezer door at the top. Click-a-lot! The refrigerator door finally yielded to the little monkey's persistence and somewhat stubbornness. Lily delightedly peeked inside her round eyes, scanning everything, then decided to take out a transparent plastic box which seemed to contain some kind of dark brown powder, possibly fragrant cocoa powder or nutritious cereal that Dad often used. But perhaps because the box was a bit heavy for Lily's strength, or because she was too eager to bring her spoils to the table to enjoy as she tried to move it, a little powder unfortunately spilled onto the clean, shiny floor. Lily paused slightly, looking at the spilled powder with a somewhat dazed expression. Then she plopped down on the floor. While Lily was struggling with the powder, more of it continued to spill here and there on the floor. Undeterred by this small failure, Lily stood up, once again opened the refrigerator door, and this time her target was a carton of cool, fresh milk. She carefully carried the milk carton to the small table, perhaps intending to enjoy this favorite drink after she had dealt with the cocoa powder. But then it seemed the sense of responsibility that Dad had carefully taught her surged strongly within Lily. She couldn't ignore her mistake. Lily ran to find, then managed to get a large, soft paper towel. She returned carefully, using the paper towel to wipe up both the tabletop and the part of the floor that had been soiled by cocoa powder and fresh milk. Although her tiny hands were still very clumsy, and her wiping motions were still awkward, Lily's effort and self-awareness were truly commendable and touching. After wiping, she obediently found the trash can, opened the lid, and put the dirty paper towel in the right place. Not stopping there, Lily continued to walk around the house, picking up tiny crumbs, any remaining powder particles on the floor, and putting them all in the trash, determined to restore the clean, pristine state of her beloved home. Outside in the yard, after a period of diligent and tireless work, Dad had also finished weeding around the house. He propped the hoe in a corner, then slung it onto his sturdy shoulder, leisurely walking towards the small wooden house, opening the door, and stepping inside to rest for a bit, perhaps to drink some water to quench his thirst. Afterwards, as an indispensable daily habit, Dad left the house, again slowly heading towards the small pond where the flock of ducklings was still playing. Dad probably wanted to check if the little ducklings had eaten their fill, or if they needed any further assistance. Dad's love was not reserved only for Lily. Meanwhile, inside, Lily had a new task to complete. She was sitting on a cool, polished black stone step on the veranda, trying to use her tiny hands to take off the t-shirt she was wearing. Perhaps the shirt had gotten dirty while she was playing with the powder or drinking milk. After a while of struggling, twisting, and turning in every possible way, unbuttoning each button if any, or trying with difficulty to pull her head through the collar, Lily finally managed to take off the shirt by herself. With a commendable spirit of independence, she took the shirt she had just removed, walked straight to the modern fancy front-loading washing machine placed in a corner of the yard. Lily tried to tiptoe, using all her might to stuff the dirty shirt into the empty washing drum. She walked into her familiar bedroom, skillfully climbed onto her spacious, comfortable bed, and found her teddy bear dressed in a blue knitted sweater, her close friend indispensable in every sleep. Lily lovingly hugged the teddy bear tightly, nuzzling her small face into its soft, smooth fur. At the same time, Dad came into the house from outside. He took off his outer jacket, which was dotted with sweat, then gently placed the small table near the refrigerator, back to its original position where Lily had accidentally moved it while playing earlier. Dad opened the refrigerator door, took out the box of brown powder that Lily had spilled some of earlier, perhaps to tidy it away properly, or to check if it was damaged. Returning to the bedroom, Lily had quickly fallen into a deep sleep, her hands still tightly clutching her beloved teddy bear. Dad gently entered the room, making no sound, and stood quietly at the door, watching his little daughter sleeping soundly peacefully. His eyes at this moment were filled with boundless love and an indescribable tenderness. Dad quietly left Lily's bedroom, trying not to disturb his daughter's precious sleep. Then, he began the task of tidying up the entire house, using a pretty pink long-handled mop.
Đây đi. Nè, đi tiếp đi con, đi tiếp đi.
Lily snuggled close to Dad's sturdy legs in an area piled high with dry straw. Dad squatted down his kind, gentle eyes, looking at his little daughter, who was curiously exploring her surroundings. Then, Dad lifted Lily into his arms, and father and daughter began a new journey of discovery. They walked together on a narrow dirt path, overgrown with grass winding through bushes taller than their heads, feeling the wildness and closeness of nature. Their next destination on this trip was a neighbor's chicken coop, where many chickens of various colors and sizes were freely roaming and foraging. Lily seemed a little scared and somewhat unfamiliar when she saw so many chickens at once for the first time in her life. She timidly pressed closer into Dad's embrace, seeking protection.
Hi.
Dad again slowly squatted down one arm, holding Lily, the other gently stroking her small back, whispering soft words of comfort and reassurance. A little later, when she felt calmer and safer in Dad's arms, Lily curiously climbed onto an old rickety table placed in a corner of the yard. On the table were many miscellaneous old items and a tin box of food. She skillfully used her hands to open the lid of the box and delightedly took out something round and whitish, perhaps a type of biscuit.
Gà to hòn ly ạ. Thấy không? Cái gà to. Đi vào lấy đồ ăn cho gà đi con. Đúng rồi. Đi lấy đi. Rồi mang cái đây đi.
Afterwards, father and daughter sat squatting together on a cool cement step. Dad took out a few golden yellow kernels from his pocket, perhaps corn, or peanuts poured them onto two small tin lids and offered them to Lily to eat. Lily delightedly used her tiny fingers to pick up each kernel and put it in her mouth, chewing with relish. Finally, on this outing, Lily was again led by Dad to an area where there was a large wooden barrel filled with fresh, newly laid chicken eggs. Dad pointed to the round, smooth, pinkish-white eggs, some still dotted with a few specks of dirt, then gently took Lily's hand, guiding her on how to carefully pick up each egg and place it into a small, pretty bamboo basket, already lined with dry straw. Lily appeared very focused and carefully followed Dad's every instruction, picking up each egg with utmost care and respect.
Lily, đây rồi. Mang cái đồ qua đây ba nè, mang cái đồ qua đây. Lấy cái đồ kia.
Dad wore a proud smile as he looked at the basket of eggs, now full from the diligent labor of father and daughter.
Đi đây.
He carried Lily in one arm and the heavy basket of eggs in the other, walking together into the house. Lily was privileged by Dad to sit comfortably on her favorite cream yellow upholstered sofa in the living room, perhaps to rest after a strenuous morning of work. Dad went into the kitchen, skillfully took a few fresh chicken eggs from the basket, cracked them into a white porcelain bowl, added a pinch of seasoning, then used chopsticks to beat them until fluffy. Afterwards, Dad heated a pan on the stove, added a little cooking oil, then poured the egg mixture in, frying it into golden, fluffy, and fragrant omelets. Dad carefully sliced the fried eggs into small, manageable pieces, then placed them on a white porcelain plate, garnished with a few sprigs of fresh green cilantro, and brought it out to the table, placing it right in front of Lily, who was waiting with eager anticipation. Lily seemed to be very fond of and interested in this four-legged friend. She showed no fear at all, and even gently reached out her small hand to touch the goat's soft head. A very friendly and lovely gesture of acquaintance. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Dad was alone, riding his familiar motorbike to a small roadside grocery store and quickly buying a bag of fresh green vegetables, perhaps to prepare ingredients for a hearty family lunch. Returning to Lily and her new goat friend, after a while of getting acquainted, she had become much bolder and more mischievous. Lily skillfully climbed onto the broad and probably very warm back of the goat, who was leisurely grazing on tender grass shoots near the base of an ancient tree. Lily held on tightly to the goat's soft white fur, her small face beaming with delight and extreme excitement at this unique and novel goat riding game. The goat wearing the yellow straw hat still stood leisurely and unhurriedly on a spacious verdant patch of open land, occasionally bending down gracefully to nibble on tender, sweet young grass shoots. Lily, after a while of being carried around the yard by her goat steed, was perhaps also a bit tired. She still sat firmly on her friend's back, but seemed calmer and less talkative. Dad approached from afar, perhaps with some food in his hands, partly for Lily, and partly to share with the kind goat friend who had brought joy to his little daughter. Lily's day thus gently passed with experiences that were very simple, close to nature, yet also truly memorable and meaningful. From household chores, however small, that demonstrated self-awareness, mischievous pranks that were sometimes a bit overboard, but incredibly endearing first life lessons about independence and kindness, to being loved and cared for in every little detail by Dad, and making friends and playing with gentle animal companions. Every moment was a pink brick, a bright color building a truly sweet childhood, a small family always filled with laughter and immeasurable happiness. The indoor adventure continued, leading Lily to the dining table, where a rustic woven bamboo basket was filled with fresh, plump green beans. The fresh green color of the beans was inviting. Lily gently climbed onto a chair and then, in a flash, was seated on the tabletop. She eyed the basket of beans for a moment, then surprisingly used both hands to pick up the basket. Perhaps the basket was a bit heavy for Lily, or maybe it was a mischievous impulse, but she decided to take this treasure elsewhere. Lily awkwardly carried the basket of beans, wriggling under the table. This hard work seemed to have drained a lot of the little monkey's energy. As soon as she finished her task, Lily sat on the floor hugging the basket and began to enjoy the fruits of her labor. She picked up a bean, brought it to her mouth, and crunched on it happily. After the eventful but enjoyable snack, Lily got a new accessory. It was a tiny straw hat, very skillfully woven, that fit her head perfectly. Her playtime on the patio led Lily to a grassy area near a simple wooden structure, perhaps an unused animal pen. Lily, still wearing the straw hat and carrying the basket now with considerably fewer beans, curiously approached it. Suddenly, from behind the wooden structure, a new friend appeared. It was a mountain goat with a snow-white coat, gentle eyes, and a funny long beard. The goat calmly walked over, apparently attracted by the basket in Lily's hand. Without any hesitation, the goat lowered its head and gently nibbled at the remaining green beans in the basket. Lily stood still, looking up at her brand new friend. She showed no fear or annoyance, but seemed to possess a quiet curiosity and acceptance. When the basket was completely empty after the impromptu feast with the goat, Lily carried the empty basket around the house as if on an important mission. Finally, she placed the basket on the kitchen counter, neat and tidy.
Bữa nào đập bò. Hay ăn cái đa nó biết mẹ trăng nó có ăn bố ở đâu cái đầu bò.
After buying all the necessary items, Dad placed the full basket in the front carrier of the green motorbike. The journey home began. The familiar motorbike chugged along the village road, carrying the fresh produce from the market. Lily, perhaps having been coaxed by Dad, waited at home. When the iron gate creaked open, signaling Dad's return, Lily ran out to greet him.
Lily, nè, đây. Gì đấy? Nè, tao mua đồ này. Mua đồ về ăn đấy.
The small kitchen became bustling again. Dad began to unpack
Đi
the
ngồi chờ ba tí
groceries.
nhá.
The little monkey, with her inherent curiosity, couldn't stand still. Lily hopped onto a tall chair, then onto the kitchen counter, standing right next to Dad, watching his every move. Cucumbers were washed under cool, running water. The trickling sound was cheerful. Bunches of fresh green vegetables, still dotted with tiny water droplets, were placed neatly in a colander. Pearly white fresh bean sprouts were also taken out. Lily occasionally brought her little nose close to sniff, as if to inspect the quality of each food item. A little later, Dad began to prepare a light meal. On a dark wooden cutting board, slices of sandwich bread were laid out. Next came crisp green lettuce leaves, a few slices of ripe red tomato, and some thinly sliced onion. The fresh, cool aroma of the vegetables blended with the smell of bread, creating an irresistible appeal. And then the most awaited moment arrived. Dad placed the plate with the delicious-looking sandwich on a small table. He sat down, then gently lifted Lily onto his lap. Dad tore off small pieces of the sandwich and carefully fed them to Lily. The little monkey accepted them with delight, her cheeks puffed out as she chewed voraciously. The sweetness of the bread, the freshness of the lettuce, the slight tartness of the tomato, and the mild tang of the onion blended together, creating a wonderful taste. Lily ate with gusto, occasionally looking up at Dad with affectionate eyes, as if offering a sincere thank you. In that moment, the bond between human and animal became so warm and sacred.
Đây, ba làm cho Ly ăn thử nha. Đây, đi chờ tí, đi chờ tí. Ngon không? Được không?
The afternoon nap seemed to have fully recharged Lily. As the afternoon sun began to soften, the little monkey slowly woke up. Lily rubbed her eyes, yawned widely, then stretched contentedly. Her energy had returned, and Lily was ready for new mischief.
Dad.
She played happily with Dad, their giggles and affectionate gestures displaying their close bond.
Sao? Rồi, Liên này đi với ba nhé. Được không? Chơi với ba nhé. Hãy vào lấy túi đi. Vào lấy túi của con đi. Túi đồ đi. Đây này. Đúng rồi, mang cái này con. Kia. Giỏi lắm. Đây cho ba cái nào. Đây. Lấy cái mũ đi con. Lấy mũ đi. Đúng rồi. Đứng lên. Rồi, đi ra đây đi nào. Đi. Đứng im đi, đứng im con, đứng im mà chờ tí. Ra đây, ra đây. Đây, ra đây. Đây. Vào đây ha. Rồi. Để vào tí nha. Rồi, đến xe nào. Qua đây nào. Bên đây. Rồi,
Suddenly, Dad took out a small, cute object. A toy helmet, bright blue, that fit Lily's head perfectly.
Ôm đây hả?
Dad gently placed the helmet on the little racer. Lily looked so cool, like a professional racer, about to start an important race. She seemed very pleased with this new accessory, constantly turning her head to admire it. The little racer was ready for the next trip. Dad carefully picked Lily up, and they both went out to the yard, where the green motorbike was waiting. Lily was securely seated in the front basket, still wearing her cute helmet. The bike slowly started moving, taking the two friends away from the house onto quiet country roads, shaded by green trees. The golden afternoon sun cast long shadows over vast rice paddies.
Lý giỏ, đúng rồi. Đây này, giỏ này. Đi thôi. Nhanh lên.
The motorbike stopped at the edge of a small garden. Dad turned off the engine, gently lifted Lily from the bike, not forgetting to bring another small woven bamboo basket. They walked together, exploring the surrounding area. Dad's steps were unhurried on the soft green grass, while Lily was either carried by Dad or occasionally trotted along herself, still carrying her small basket, looking very grown up. The air here was so fresh and quiet. Birds chirped merrily in the bushes, insects buzzed, and the wind rustled through the leaves, all creating a symphony of nature.
Đây, con thử đi. Được không? Ngon không? Úi giời, ngon quá ha. Nè. Lạc ngon ha. Đấy, bỏ đây nhá. Nè, con bỏ đây nè. Bỏ đây nè. Bỏ đây nè. Bỏ đây nè. Đâu rồi? Cái hai con cầm đâu? Đây nè. Bỏ đây ha. Đúng rồi. Lấy này, bỏ đây nè. Cái lấy đi. Rồi đi nè. Cầm đi con, cầm hai tay con. Cầm hai tay nhé. Rồi đi. Đi Lia. Đi nè. Đi thẳng. Tốt quá. Sao? Đưa cho ba cầm nè. Để đây nhá. Hai mình đọc. Ồ, sao? Đưa cho ba cầm nè. Để đây nhá. Hay mình đào khoai đi ha. Khoai không?
They ventured deeper into the garden, where the soil was fertile and the vegetation lush.
Đây.
Dad found a clear patch of ground and took out a small stick. He gently took Lily's tiny hand, showing her how to use the stick to dig in the soil. Lily was very excited about this new game. She watched Dad's every move intently, then mimicked him using her own stick to scratch and paw at the ground. Sometimes the stick got caught on a root, and Lily would struggle for a moment before freeing it. Concentration and determination were evident on her small face.
Ồ, giỏi quá. Đúng rồi. Bơi đi con.
And then their persistence paid off handsomely. After a while of digging with Dad's help, a round, dark brown tuber gradually emerged from the loose soil.
Giỏi lắm.
It could have been a mealy taro or a sweet, delicious sweet potato. Joy was evident on Dad's face, and
Oh.
Lily also let out
Anna.
excited kek-kek sounds.
Ồ.
Dad carefully lifted the tuber, brushing off the clinging soil.
À, đúng rồi Ly
The
ơi, đúng
precious
rồi.
spoils were solemnly
Đúng
placed
rồi,
by
bà.
Lily into her
Thấy chưa?
small basket. She clutched
nhé,
the
tôi về
basket
tôi ha.
as if afraid someone would
Giờ này
take
mình
away
làm
her
nhé.
newly found treasure.
Hôm nay ăn thử nhá.
Afterwards,
Ăn
they
sao nhé.
continued their stroll, walking along
Đi nào,
rows
đi nào.
of green vegetables,
Đi lên
meandering through dense
Đi lên,
tree-lined paths, fully enjoying the
Đây nè.
beauty and tranquility of nature.
Đi này. Đi thôi, đi. Đây nè Ly ơi. Đi về thôi Ly ơi. Nhanh lên về thôi. Này mũ này. Ui chặt. Chặt nha. Về thôi ha.
The garden exploration ended, and Dad and Lily got back on the familiar motorbike. The little monkey still sat obediently in the front basket, not forgetting to hold her prize tightly. This time, their journey was a bit more challenging. The motorbike navigated a narrow, overgrown path with dense trees on both sides, their branches arching overhead, nearly touching. Sunlight could only penetrate in dappled patches through the leaves. The space was quiet, with only the sound of the motorbike engine and the rustling wind. It felt like they were venturing into a mysterious forest. Lily seemed a bit nervous, but still held onto her tuber. On the way, they unexpectedly encountered a man leisurely cycling in the opposite direction. A brief encounter, a friendly greeting, and then each continued on their separate journey. After riding for a while, Dad carefully stopped the bike by the roadside. He bent down, gently lifted the cloth covering the basket, checking if Lily was okay. The little monkey looked up at Dad, her eyes still shining brightly. Dad smiled, gently stroked Lily's head, and then continued the journey. Dad's care and attention for Lily were evident in every small gesture.
Bà đi đi à. Bà đi trước đi. Để cho bà đi nhá. Chưa? Để cho bà đi nè.
Hai giỏi thế bà.
Cho bà đi kìa. Bà đi. Ừ. Đi nè.
Con đây, con đi về luôn.
Này đâu? Ừ. Bố ơi, về tới nhà rồi.
Finally, after a long ride through fields and small woods, the motorbike brought Dad and Lily back to their beloved home. The sun had begun to set in the west, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold. Dad carried Lily inside, ending an afternoon full of exciting experiences.
Ừ. Ở đây ha. Đi đây. Ôi chà. Này da. Đào đi quay mà thương cái xe này đi à. Rồi mai cái gì đi chợ ở đây. Ừ. Mai lấy gì đi chợ ở đây. Đấy. Không ngồi đây nhá. Ngồi đây bao rửa khoai ha. Cái mũ ra nào. Mũ kìa, cất cái mũ được không? Cất mũ xuống bếp nhá. Cất mũ xuống bàn đi. Đây ngồi đi. Ta làm thế này cho Ly nhé. Bỏ kia đi con. Dạ, quá.
The small kitchen once again became the center of all activity. While Dad prepared dinner, Lily climbed onto the familiar kitchen counter, observing curiously. Her attention was quickly drawn to the dark brown tuber, the prize she had worked so hard to find. Lily reached out to touch it, feeling the rough, uneven surface of the tuber. Dad was now washing something in the sink. Afterwards, he took the tuber and cut a piece with a knife. A surprise was revealed. The inside of the tuber was a beautiful and unusual deep purple color. Dad offered a small piece for Lily to smell. The little monkey sniffed curiously, perhaps trying to identify this new aroma. Dinner preparations proceeded quickly but carefully. Dad skillfully peeled the purple tuber and cut it into bite-sized pieces. The purple pieces looked very appealing. Dad also prepared some peanuts plump and full. Everything was placed in a steamer. A pot of water was put on the stove, and the flame roared to life. Soon hot steam began to rise, carrying the faint, sweet smell of the tuber and peanuts.
Đúng rồi. Giỏi quá. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Bỏ đây. Giỏi quá. Bỏ đây con. Bỏ đi. Ok, con ngồi đi. Ngồi yên đó ha. Thì còn lại để ba cho nha. Ok. Rồi, được rồi. Được rồi. Ở đây sẽ chờ tí ha. Ở đây mình chờ xíu nhé. Được không? Mình chờ xíu nhé. Đi lấy ghế. Ghế này, ghế đây này. Kéo đây con.
While waiting for the food to cook, Dad and Lily relaxed together in the living room. Dad held Lily in his lap, stroking her soft fur. Then he placed Lily in a lemon yellow beanbag chair, which looked very comfortable and just her size. They sat there together, enjoying the peaceful moments. In the distance, the television was showing some program with moving images and lively sounds. Lily seemed captivated, her eyes glued to the screen, occasionally tilting her head, as if trying to understand what was happening. Perhaps for Lily, it was an entertaining form of amusement, or maybe she simply enjoyed the flickering lights and colors. Most importantly, it was a moment spent beside her dear Dad. Finally, the footage capturing a long day for Lily and Dad gradually came to an end. The image of the green motorbike, their loyal companion on every journey, was parked neatly among the green potted plants on the porch, as if resting after a hard day's work. The steamer on the stove billowed with steam, signaling that the food was cooked.
Ly ơi, có mùi thơm
The
kìa.
aroma of
Gì vậy?
steamed purple tuber and peanuts filled the kitchen, awakening the senses and creating a cozy atmosphere.
Chín rồi. Ngồi đây.
Dad carefully dished out the soft, steaming purple tuber pieces and A of savory peanuts onto a plate. He sat down at the small table where Lily was already waiting expectantly. Dad lovingly fed Lily each piece of tuber, each peanut. The little monkey slowly savored the special dinner, the reward of her afternoon adventure. The sweet, earthy taste of the tuber and the rich flavor of the peanuts blended together, creating an unforgettable taste. Dad also tasted the food himself, a satisfied smile on his face. It was a simple meal, yet filled with so much love and sharing. Another day passed, a day filled with countless activities, discoveries, and memorable moments. From the mischievous antics of the early morning, the colorful trip to the local market, the warm lunch, the peaceful afternoon nap, to the adventure of finding the tuber in the garden and the delicious dinner. All these moments wove together a vivid and touching picture of the special father-daughter bond between a human and the little monkey Lily. It was not just about care, but also about companionship, understanding, and sharing the simple joys of life. Lily, with her mischief and charm, brought joy and warmth to the small house, and in return, she received boundless love and care from her dad. Tomorrow, a new day would begin, and surely many more exciting adventures awaited Dad and Lily. It all began in the cozy living room, where Dad was engrossed in his laptop. The phone rang, and after a tense call with his boss, Dad buried his head in his hands, clearly exhausted and under immense pressure. His keyboard clicks seemed heavier laden with an invisible burden. Dad was unaware that his every worry was being watched by the keen, curious eyes of Lily the little monkey. Lily, usually playful, sat silently in a corner today, observing Dad's every move.
Sếp thông cảm cho em nhé.
Có muốn công ty dẹp tiệm luôn à?
Dạ, em cũng không muốn như thế đâu. Dạ, em xin.
Is it my fault? Because of me, Dad lost his job. So no more milk, no more fruit.
Lily's eyes shone with understanding as she watched Dad slump over his desk, letting out a long sigh. Unable to stand by and watch Dad's sadness, Lily slowly approached gently, touching Dad's leg, and then his arm with her tiny fingers like a silent comfort. Dad looked up his tired face, showing a hint of surprise as he saw Lily trying to comfort him. He managed a weak smile, picked Lily up, and placed her next to him on the familiar bed.
I don't need milk. I don't need fruit anymore. Don't be sad, Dad.
Lily happily snuggled into Dad's embrace, but the joy was short-lived. As Dad got up, seemingly to make a hot cup of tea to relieve stress, Lily's eyes drooped sadly. She didn't want Dad to face his sorrow alone. Dad sat down on the old wooden bench, still lost in his myriad thoughts.
Đi nằm ngoan đấy nha.
Dad doesn't seem well. I can't leave him alone.
But Lily didn't give up. She knew Dad needed comforting, and she was determined to do something to cheer him up. In a flash of mischief, Lily darted onto the bed, using all her might to drag her familiar pink blanket onto the floor. The soft blanket with its cute patterns now became a savior in the little monkey's hands. Lily, with her tiny strength, struggled to pull the heavy blanket across the floor, heading towards Dad. Dad remained seated, head in his hands, completely unaware of the rescue operation underway. It was only when Lily carefully placed the soft blanket right next to his feet that Dad startled and looked up, seeing the little monkey panting from effort, but her eyes full of anticipation. Dad couldn't help but be moved. He picked Lily up, hugging her tightly. The little monkey snuggled into his warm embrace as if she had just completed a mission of utmost importance.
Rồi, đi con chơi nhé. Lily ra đi chơi nhé, ba mời cái mền tí để ba nằm nhé. Lily ra đi chơi nhé. Đi con. Đi ra đi chơi con.
Not stopping there, Lily seemed determined to take care of Dad thoroughly. She jumped down, scurrying to the small yellow mini fridge in the corner of the room. With her dexterity, Lily opened the fridge door and grabbed a carton of fresh milk. Milk wasn't just a drink, it was a symbol of the care and love Lily wanted to give Dad. She carried the milk to a small wooden table, placed it down, and looked at Dad with a pleading gaze, as if to say, "Dad, please drink some milk to feel better." Dad, now more alert, rubbed his eyes and looked at the milk Lily was offering him, his eyes filled with warmth. He took the milk, holding the little monkey in his arms as he drank sip by sip. The scene of Dad holding the monkey drinking milk created a warm and loving picture. When Lily finished her milk, she didn't forget her cleanup duty. She scurried to the small blue trash can, skillfully discarding the empty carton.
Gì Ly? Gì đây? Sao? Sữa cho ba hả? Hả? Ly mua sữa cho ba hả? Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Ba không sao nhé. Ly lấy sữa uống đi ha. Được không? Hả? Nhé. Không phải nhường cho ba đâu nhé. Con đói con uống nhé. Thấy chưa? Qua đây con. Bạn lấy sữa cho Ly uống nhé. Đây. Con uống đi. Đúng rồi. Giỏi lắm. Hết rồi hả? Hết rồi hả? Hết thì bỏ thùng rác nhé Ly nhé. Mang con gì rồi? Bỏ thùng rác đi con. Xong rồi hả con? Thôi đi ngủ nhé. Được không? Đi ngủ nhé. Ha.
Finally, Dad picked up Lily and the pink blanket, and together they headed towards the bed. He placed Lily on his soft yellow pillow, then covered both of them with the pink blanket. Dad and Lily, warmed by their mutual affection, drifted into peaceful sleep. This story is a testament to the power of friendship and love between humans and animals. When Dad faced difficulties, little monkey Lily, with her care and small gestures, brought comfort and joy, helping him overcome life's pressures. It's a reminder that sometimes happiness and peace come from the simplest things, from the unconditional love of our four-legged friends. The video opens with the serene yet vibrant scene of a lush tropical garden where bright morning sunbeams pierce through the leaves. Amidst this fresh air, Lily, the mischievous little monkey, with her soft brown fur and quick, intelligent eyes, is joyfully climbing and exploring. Lily isn't just any monkey. She's a special member of the family loved and cared for by Dad, like his own child. With the innate agility and dexterity of her species, Lily gracefully swings from branch to branch, her movements fluid and free. She sniffs around, searches, then plucks a ripe fruit, brings it to her mouth, and enjoys it thoroughly, her eyes closing in pure satisfaction. Each of Lily's chirps echoes through the space, creating a cheerful symphony that breaks the morning silence. Meanwhile, Dad is still sound asleep on his cozy bed in a nearby room. He's had a long, tiring night of work, and this sleep is the most precious thing to him. The morning light filters through the window, painting streaks across the floor and illuminating Dad's gentle face, but it seems insufficient to rouse him from his slumber. Lily, after having her fill and playing to her heart's content, suddenly remembers Dad. With her playful nature and perhaps wanting Dad to wake up and play with her, she decides it's time to begin her waking up operation. The little monkey, without hesitation, swiftly jumps onto the bed, her eyes sparkling mischievously. She starts her familiar tricks to rouse Dad. First, Lily gently tugs at the corner of the blanket. Then, more boldly, she uses her tiny hands to gently shake Dad's leg. When Dad still doesn't stir, Lily even playfully climbs up and patiently jiggles Dad's head with her small fingers. Every action of Lily's demonstrates deep care, a simple desire to see her human companion awake and ready to start the new day with her. These gestures not only show her mischievousness, but also a deep bond, an invisible yet strong connection between human and animal. When direct attempts to wake Dad proved somewhat ineffective, or perhaps wanting to add a dramatic flair, Lily switched to a much smarter tactic. Her eyes suddenly lit up when she spotted the pink alarm clock on the bedside table. With her inherent dexterity, Lily carefully picked up the alarm clock with both hands. The little monkey placed the alarm clock on Dad's head, seemingly hoping the ringing sound would jolt him awake in a sudden and amusing way. And sure enough, after a few tense moments of silence, the alarm clock's ringing sound blared out clear and decisive. Dad startled awake, his eyes blinking sleepily, his face groggy and a little confused. He looked around then, down at the alarm clock resting on his head, and finally at Lily's seemingly innocent gaze beside him. As soon as Dad opened his eyes, Lily quickly jumped off the bed, as if her mission had been successfully accomplished, and it was time to retreat from the scene to avoid any reprimand. After that unique and somewhat comical wake-up call, the atmosphere in the room softened and became warm. All the tiredness and stress seemed to melt away. Lily, having completed her task, was no longer mischievous. She snuggled into Dad's embrace, seeking warmth and peace. Dad held Lily close, stroking her soft fur, and they both seemed to drift into a second deeper and more complete nap. This image highlights the trust and warm affection. They share a rare moment of tranquility amidst life's bustle. The peaceful morning passed, and after their brief nap, Dad and Lily were ready to start a new day full of energy. Dad realized it was time to prepare breakfast. They both moved into the kitchen, where natural light flooded in through the small window. The kitchen space suddenly became more lively with Lily's presence. Dad opened the refrigerator, took out fresh green vegetables, and began to prep them. The rhythmic sound of chopping knives echoed steadily. Lily stood by curiously, her dark eyes never leaving Dad's skillful hands. She observed his every move with fascination, as if learning a new skill. Not just watching Lily, also tried to help with clumsy but incredibly endearing actions. She might reach out for a small carrot or try to push a bowl closer to Dad, though sometimes her actions created a little chaos in the kitchen. Nevertheless, Dad just smiled gently. The interaction between Dad and Lily in the kitchen showed the closeness and comfort they shared in their daily activities, proving that Lily was not just a pet, but an indispensable part of the family. Once the food was cooked, an appetizing aroma wafted through the kitchen. Dad carefully spooned portions of the cooked vegetables onto a small plate specifically for Lily. He didn't just set the plate down, but gently used a fork to pick up each piece, bringing it right to Lily's mouth. Lily obediently accepted each bite, enjoying the meal with visible delight on her face. Sometimes she would even squint her eyes as if praising the delicious food. This moment was not just about nourishment. It was a special heartwarming instant filled
Lily
with
con ghé đi
affection
con.
between Dad and Lily.
Ừ.
Dad's tender care for Lily
Đấy,
and
ngon
Lily's
đấy.
trust and closeness to her human companion